We keep moving forward in our reuse. So our next speaker is Kish Rajan. He's got this bio that you all should read, but he's encouraged me not to read all of it because it's mostly highlighting exactly how brilliant he is, and he's trying to be a little modest. Oh, so cute. Under Kish's leadership and guidance, he's been guided by a philosophy called community resource optimization, the value of discarded materials through reuse and other programs. This program, working with Republic and the Mount Diablo Resource Recovery Facility, is now experiencing new excitement and profitability. Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah.
That works.
The blue advances.
Cool. Becca, thank you. Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
She's watched you.
Hi.
Look for her.
All right, there's the time. I got it. This is awesome. I wish I had like some beat poetry that I was doing up here. I think that would be a lot more fun. I am glad to be here, so thank you very much. And we are going to talk more about reuse. How about Freya? That was really fun. That was a great presentation. And you'll find that we're in this value chain with you and folks like you. And I think that's why sessions like this are so valuable, to help connect some of these dots and think of other opportunities for collaboration. And I know I will. So indeed, we are guided by this principle that we call community resource optimization. It's a little clunky. I came up with it. We'll come up with a better name. But what it does, what it means is, so we're a traditional, typical garbage and recycling company, right? Family-owned, multi-generational family. We're based in Concord. We pick up Eastern Contra Costa County. I got a couple of my colleagues here in the front row. Hi, folks. Eastern Contra Costa County, a little bit of Solano County. We collect residential, commercial customers, 75,000 residential customers, 7,000-ish commercial. We pick up your typical 3-cart stream: garbage, recycling, organics. We collect it. We have a great processing operation out in East Contra Costa County, and we do what you expect out of garbage and recycling companies, and we do it really, really well. We take great pride in the way we execute as an organization. But thinking about all that capacity and that know-how and resources that we've developed both internally and then in partnership with our jurisdictions, not the least of which is RecycleSmart, David Kruger, Executive Director. I saw Jen here, Ashley, Louisiana. That team is such a great team that, and they manage the central Contra Costa County area. And together we think about, how do we do more? How do we take the capacity that we have? How do we take the resources that we have and do more, do better by our residents, and do better by our environment, and do better by our communities in ways that are more inventive, in ways that maximize our capabilities? And that's completely aligned with what this really means to us. For us, every day at Mount Diablo, we challenge ourselves to deliver an outstanding customer experience across the board. But then for us, that's table stakes. Now we want to go to the next level and say, how do we think about every possible material stream that exists inside of our community, and how can we deploy our resources to impact those, to elevate the value of every material stream that we collect and process, right? And what other streams can we get involved with? And that's how reuse was born. And so reuse for us is on the front end of the process that others have been talking about, right? So those 75,000 residential customers that we have, so many of them, these are household individuals. It's people like us that have stuff in our garage, we have stuff in our attic, we have stuff in our possession that has a useful life in our storage sheds, right? Our storage units that have a useful life. We just don't want them anymore, right? We've gotten what we wanted out of it, but we don't want it anymore. But for whatever reasons, we don't want to go through the process of disposing it or dealing with it or donating it or what have you. It's sitting in my storage unit. I don't think about it anymore. But I know in the back of my mind that it would be great if somebody else could get some benefit from that. But if that was easier for me, I would do it. So we just simply set up a program with RecycleSmart that said, look, we have trucks, we have storage capabilities, we have distribution networks, we have partners. We know how to collect and move and distribute stuff. Why don't we apply that in the reuse context? And so we developed a program several years ago in the Central Contra Costa County JPA, and we very simply set up a couple of reuse days per year for our residential customers. We let them know when your reuse day is going to happen. Those residents just put their stuff out at the curb, right? And then we come and we pick it up, we store it, we warehouse it, and then we work with a number of partners that I'll demonstrate or I'll show in just a moment. But it's the kind of household items that you would think about, right? It's furniture, it's appliances, if they work. We're not an appliance maintenance shop. it's clothing, it's yard items, it's all kinds of just typical household items that have an ongoing useful life. We collect them and we store them. By the way, Freya, I could use a couple of badass people to help them move things around in our warehouse. It's the hard work, and as always in our industry, the men and women who work for us on the ground in our operations are just extraordinarily hardworking people, and this is another great example of that. So we collect it, we store it, we sort it, we manage it, and then we engage. And this is just a smattering of, and this is, by the way, an ongoing, it's a living list of local and regional partners that we connect with to get these items in their hands so that then they can go to the next level and make the best use of it for the constituencies or communities that they're serving through these reusable items. And we're relentless about cultivating this list and maximizing the list of partners that we have, because to a question that a woman asked earlier, what happens if you keep it too long, do you end up disposing of it? That's a no-no for us. We do not want to dispose of these items. We are a vertically integrated garbage and recycling company. We possess lots of resources and lots of capabilities up and down that stack. One thing we don't own as a company is a landfill. We've never owned, well, we have owned one historically, but we haven't had one in recent times. And we are very oriented towards diversion. So everything that we do with all of the material streams we collect and manage, diversion is what it's about, right? We want to divert these materials. We want to elevate their value. So we work with partners and we're cultivating those relationships all the time to make sure that these items that we're collecting are getting in the hands of people that can use them. So with the RecycleSmart staff that's so fantastic about helping with the execution of this, it is all about communication. It is all about community engagement. People need to know that the program exists. They need to know how the program works. They need to have resources that they can contact to find out exactly how they can participate. Us in partnership with RecycleSmart have built web resources. We create the brochures. We're constantly communicating to try to increase participation and maximize how much material is being collected and managed through the program. So this is a cool example of something that Ashley on the RecycleSmart team created that goes out to residents. So we're consistently promoting the program so people know how to engage and how to participate. So that's through the regular days. And then, you know, what has happened is now not only are the regular days for reuse collection so successful, it allows us to innovate and think of more creative ways that we can continue to get more material involved in the program. And so you can see just a couple of the special programs that we do that are great and just have such particularly fun and important impact in the community. School supplies, of course, are always such a critical thing. There's so many families that are in need of trying to be able to procure or get the school supplies that they need. We've heard so many stories, we all have, about the dearth of that and the challenges, and teachers that are struggling because their kids are coming into their classrooms without adequate school supplies. This is a particular item that's in great need where we can have an impact. And so at our facilities, our locations, including our field-based customer service offices, we particularly promote school supply exchanges, and so that's a big part of what we do. My personal favorite are Halloween costume exchanges. I mean, there's nothing cooler than the kid, right, who wants to be Batman this year, and that's like, all right, well, I don't want to be Batman next year, but I've got this costume that is basically, you know, it's been worn once. And so we set up these bins at our offices, at our locations, and we set up other locations, and then kids come in that otherwise wouldn't get to be Batman, but there it is, right? There's an opportunity for that, which I love. And then Ashley at RecycleSmart, who was thinking about college move-out days. And for any of us who have had college-age kids, we know that when those kids leave the dorm or leave their apartments, and it's this, you know, crisis situation, everybody's got to go. It's, you know, it's this massive challenge to get everybody out. There are so many items that the kids, or that we bought for the kids, that is, you know, they're getting ready to trash it because they're like, Dad, I got to move. And I'm like, well, what happened to that thing? I paid like $500 for, you know, So we did it with St. Mary's College, which is in Moraga, which is in the region. It was a very successful pilot, and we're going to continue to try to ramp that up as well. We have lots of great stories where we've had organizations know that we're ramping up this capability. And, you know, back when the fires were raging a couple of years ago, people contacted us from up in the North State, and they said, hey, we've heard about this program that you guys have. We have particular needs for specific items. If you can put a call out, or if you have these things in your warehouse now, or you can gain access to these particular items that make a significant difference, a very meaningful difference right now, if you can produce those for us, and we've been successful at doing that. I don't want to overstate how on demand, we can do just about anything for any material type, but we can do a lot. And we've been able to create capacity to do more and more that's almost just-in-time need for materials that are particularly vital at a given moment. So in total, and I know I'm just about out of time here, in the last year, the last time we measured this, we had 24% participation in the region where we promoted this. Oh, thanks. 1,700 tons, 3.4 million pounds of material was collected and distributed. That means it was diverted from the landfill, and we're going to continue to grow those numbers. I'm all about growth. I'm all about numbers moving up and to the right. So I want 2,000 is where we want to go in terms of tons, and we'll go from there. Books is a particularly cool item that we pay a lot of attention to. We have a real impact on books. So I'll just simply close by saying that companies like ours, and we are a for-profit company, I'm CEO, it's my responsibility to maximize our financial performance, and we are doing that. But for us, it's all about maximizing financial performance, environmental performance, and community impact. We're demonstrating through this reuse program with RecycleSmart that we can do all of that, and we're going to continue to do more of it. So thank you very much for having me. It's been nice to be here.
So we have a question here. I just want to say one of the points that Kish raised before he came up here, he was like, he's trying to shame the garbage companies into doing this, which I have to say, they're pretty shameless, but I think I have faith in your skills. Okay, we got a question here. If can somebody show up with a microphone?
Hey, Kish. Hi, Kish. This is Ruben right here.
There's a voice coming.
Hi, good morning.
Kish, up here.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing, Kish? Good to see you, man.
You too.
I was just wondering, how are you funding these efforts? Is it through the ratepayers or?
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, indeed. So what happens is RecycleSmart goes to their ratepayers and adds an amount to those base rates in order to cover our expense of doing the program. So, and I think, it's one of these things where if you spread that kind of cost across a very large rate base, look, it is a charge, it is a cost to the ratepayer, but like everything that we do in our business, it's all about demonstrating the value to the community environmentally and economically in terms of maximizing the resources that we're using. And so, look, and no matter what service we provide to our ratepayers, we always have to demonstrate that they're getting tremendous value because of the quality of our performance. This is another example of that. But look, it really is a great way. We don't want to monetize the material. I'm not selling the material. I want other people to be able to extract value out of the material to try to impact their operations and reach people in need. So I think on the front end for this large-scale operation that we do, it does feel to me that spreading that across the ratepayers is a smart way to finance it, and I think we're doing well by the ratepayer in terms of how that works. And by the way, I do want to shame garbage company, but don't take away my invitations to fun events here. I mean, let's not get crazy. No, I mean them. I mean, they do golf tournament stuff that I want to go to.
Okay, we have a question here, we have a question there, and we have a question online. So we're going up there first.
Hi, thanks, Kish. Great presentation. I was involved with a college move-out collection program only once. And it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Can you go into a little bit more of the details of what that involved?
Yeah, I mean, and it was a pilot program, so we picked a very specific area for drop-off of material. It was heavily communicated through the campus. St. Mary's College is a relative, it's not Cal, it's not a big public university. So it was a pilot program that we used, exactly to your point, to try to be realistic about the logistics and how difficult that could be. You had to select a day where it wasn't one of the most difficult days because everybody was moving vehicles in and out. So there was pretty careful planning from a pilot perspective. We learned a lot, but I think inside of your question, doing those at scale, I think would be very difficult because of the logistical challenges in general around college move-ins and move-outs. But we learned a lot, and I think we're going to continue to grow that to determine what's the sweet spot, right? How can you maximize the impact without getting so swept up in the overall logistics that it starts to be too tough. So I'm not saying it would work at every school, in every setting, but we're going to try to find the way to where we can maximize it in that college context.
You need some of those Marines.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hi there. I actually run the Move Out donation program at Stanford, so this is sort of the question within that lens, but also...
That's too bad. Go Bears. Go ahead.
I guess we are on this east side. Yeah.
Welcome. We don't bite.
I'm wondering, so my main issue is student-used furniture and bulky items that are damaged. So what do you do with things you don't want or can't take? Do you just leave them?
Yeah, so our program actually coincides with a cleanup day. So we do ask residents to think about, look, if you have broken furniture or broken appliance, that is going to end up going down a different path, right? So our reuse program is not about rehabilitating items or trying to fix them. We do have to separate items that are usable, are viable for reuse, and if they're not, then that goes down a different path.
No one wants a fraternity couch.
So then, David's the last question.
And yes, we have one from Nicole. What is the method you use to collect tonnage data for reuse events and giveaways? Yeah,
so we measure everything that we collect, and so we have scales on our facility, and so we just run them over. There's specialized trucks that we use within our operation. We have a separate team, frankly, and both in terms of the collection and where materials find their way into our warehouse. So we're in the weighing business of everything that we collect.
So when you have more questions for Kish, we put his LinkedIn into the program at a glance, and you definitely can find him. And I promise that he will accept your invitation.
And RecycleSmart.org too, which is where a lot of the program is housed.
Yeah,
Thanks
he's
again.
going to fob you off on them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kish.